Good day, everyone. This is Juanita Kap from Meticulous Moments, and we are here with our special guest speaker today, Juan Javier Barragan. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And we are going to have a lovely discussion about a lot of interesting topics. Now, I just want to say thank you to all the Meticulous Moments guests, all the followers, all the audience members, also the MAM group. You guys have really supported this show so much and you have become family. It is in season 3 now. Very exciting to interview interesting and amazing individuals from across the globe. And today, our guest speaker is Juan, and he is a world champion. He's a martial artist, he's an actor. He has done so many great things to facilitate community upliftment through his leadership. And that's what we do here at Meticulous Moment. We facilitate community upliftment through leadership development. So today we celebrate everything that Juan has been doing out there, all the people's lives that he's touched, all the projects that he's been through, and everyone that he's helped, really, because this story has a lot of depth. And we were talking yesterday, we don't think this 56 minutes will be suffice. We believe there's going to be more interviews coming up. So without further ado, let us add Juan to the stage. How are you, Juan?
Hello, everyone. I'm very good. Very good.
It is such an honor to have you here. Thank you for being on the show and all the things that you do. And, you are just an inspiration to many because of all the help that you've sent out there, all the time and the effort that you've put out there. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later, your work in the community and with people. But let's start with, who is Juan Javier Barragan? Tell the audience.
I'm a half Dutch, half Spanish origin. I live in Rotterdam, Holland. I'm just turned 40. I'm a father, proud father of 2 little boys, Liam and Jason. They're called after me also. They called Liam, Javier, and Jason Juan. I was grown up in Rotterdam. I'm a fighter because I started kickboxing, Thai boxing when I was 11 years, and I never stopped. I'm still doing it. And that brought me to the world titles, European title, to the movies. What I'm doing now, yeah, incredible. That's my life a little bit, in a few lines.
In a nutshell, absolutely.
Yeah, in a nutshell.
That's right. That's right. So your kickboxing, you actually started, like you said, when you were 11, and then you started competing when you were 13. But it didn't stop there. As you're continuing today, during that journey from 13 years old, you achieved great success. Now, I realized when I read your biography, and it's in Dutch, that because I understand and speak Afrikaans, I was able to read your full biography in Dutch and understand it. So I want to give a shout out. I'm sure you know Michel Lopez Cardozo. He also speaks Dutch, and we also conversed on his podcast in Afrikaans. Because he knew, the language. So it's not the same thing, but it sounds the same. But that was very interesting to me. Now, I wanted to put a question out there. You mentioned that you were training with Adil and Nabil. I believe it's Bukhari. Tell me about
Yeah,
that training.
yeah. Like those two are not. Yeah, they are important. Of course, there are a few steps in my whole life journey with kickboxing. But I started kickboxing at the gym. It's called Omord, and when I was there, they had belts like like karate. Then I turned like black belt when I was 14, and then I started fighting in fights. And then there was one guy training in the same gym. His name was Antoine Schutte. He's more important to name him because he saw talent in me, and he made contact with me, and he asked me if what I wanted to do with the sport. And then I told him like I want to be a world champion, or I want to be the best. And then he started to help me besides my own training. So I was
Mm-hmm.
training, like, for example, I started 6:30 till 8, but I
Yeah.
started 6:30 of 5:30. I started an hour before that. So I
Yeah.
trained double with him, and he was my private trainer. He was a trainer besides the trainer in the gym. and yeah, that made everything complete for me. Like, yeah, to train and to live the life you have to live like a champion. You have to think like a champion mindset. And yeah, and Antoine, he did everything in my life as a fighter to, yeah, to motivate it. For example, the most important thing was when I was 15, when I had a few fights with him already, of course, and with my own trainer. He asked me. It was a funny thing because he went to an ATM machine. He went
Yeah,
out of the car. He went to the ATM machine. He came back, and when he came back in the car, he asked me like, "Okay, Javier, what do you want to achieve with this sport?" And then I told
yeah,
him like, "I want to be the best." And he was like, "Really? Do you want to be the best?" "Yeah, really." Then he told me when I was 15, and he was like 36. About
yeah.
like, he told me like, "Okay, then I'm gonna bring you to Thailand." Because then you need to see Thailand and you need to see the people, how they work there, how they train. But you have to think about it because he's 36, and
Yeah.
even now, even more now, like in the Me Too area or the
Right.
time period. Oh, in that time, the same. Like my parents have to, yeah, to how do you say it, to feel good about it because they have to send their boy with the old man, like with the older man with 36 years.
Right.
But everything went it was perfect. He took me there and perfectly. And then I almost fought there, but I had a contract signed in Holland to fight for a Dutch title at that time, so I
Mm-hmm.
didn't accepted the fights in Thailand in the two biggest stadiums in Ratchadamnam and Lupini at that time. So I was very I felt very proud about it. But then he always trained me. For example, when I
Yeah.
was in school, in middle school, I had the exam in the end when you proceed to other schools. I had a little bit more difficult, for example, with one subject, and then he
Yeah.
told me like, okay, then you're gonna come intern in his house. So 1 week before my fight, I had to lose 5 kilo. I went in his house, and I could bring my little brother. He was 3 years younger, but then we were watching television, for example, in the afternoon, for example, between the trainings at home, and then my brother, he gave my brother like chocolate, chips, everything, and
Yes.
I was eating like nothing. Like I was like the rice,
Rice
it's
cakes.
like, yeah, like the very healthy things. But at that time, when I was 15 and he was like 12,
Yeah.
but those are the most important. And in the end, those were the most important things he learned me. He taught me. He taught me. Those are the most
Absolutely.
important things. Yeah,
And you enjoyed all of that, and you did, in actual fact, become a world champion. Now, you talked about manifestation, was one of the words that you used, and you talked about mindset. What
yeah,
type of mindset, in your opinion, does a world champion have?
yeah. He's got a tunnel vision on his goals, on his goals, what he wants to achieve. And it's funny because now in the last, I think, 10 years, for example, the book of the Law of Attraction, The Secret, became very popular. But us fighters, for example, when I started kickboxing when I was 11, so I'm now 40. But when I started kickboxing, there was no secret. Yeah,
Mhm.
there was no book, you know. But the thing is,
Right?
like, but fighters, they do that. They have to do that because, for example, when I had a fight, also tell it to my girlfriend. I was explaining her also when I was like 14, I think, in one of my first fights. Not the
Yes.
first one, but one of the first, because that was the first time um, I knew what was happening in my mind. Because I was afraid to, not afraid, but walk to the ring, for example, it was very,
Right.
what am I doing now, for example? And then
Yes.
I made the choice, like, I have to walk because now I cannot go back and do that. And from that moment, yeah, then the security of yourself, your self, how do you say it?
That's
When
right.
you feel secure about yourself, that started there, and then it never changed. And that's
Awesome.
because of the fighting. But that's the secret. That was later, but that was a secret, love attraction. But yeah,
That's true.
it was well, yeah. That's it. It went on its own. We didn't. It goes on its own. We never had to do something for it. Just train.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's also the reason why fighters are more famous now also in the business culture that they're
Yes.
gonna do speeches and everything, because that's the only thing. Like we fighters, if something goes wrong in your fight camp, for example, weight
Yes.
loss, it's no problem. We fix it because we have to
Yes.
fix it. The fight is gonna be there either
Yeah.
way.
There's
So
no other
then,
option,
yeah, we are
right?
used to make it to find new options straight away.
That's right.
So that's
Problem
the reason.
solving. Yeah, problem solving and being innovative. And also, I've interviewed martial artists and got to know them very well. People that have, for instance, run into a situation, while they're preparing for a fight, and they just learn how to train around that injury because the fight's gonna happen. They have to be prepared, and that's something that comes from your mind, like you mentioned, mindset, being laser focused in that goal and saying, well, I'm going to make this happen. And I think a lot of the success in something like that is because of manifestation as well. Speaking, and you spoke about that yesterday, and that's something that I talk a lot about. And I was very happy to hear that because I speak a lot about energy. What energy are we creating? How are we putting things out into the universe? How are we speaking to ourselves? What is our inner talk, our self talk? And manifesting our dreams, our desires, our goals. And you spoke about that. So tell the audience a little bit about your view on manifestation. I found it very interesting.
But yeah. I'm listening to you because it's a funny thing. When I think back at that to that period when I was younger and I was fighting and I had fights and I was training to the fight, like the first week, the second week is like 6 week or 7 week camp.
Yes.
But for example, when you wait and of course, but the thing is, like what they say now: speak it, believe it, and receive it.
Right?
I did that at that time without thinking about it, but it went on its own
Mhm.
because I had a fight. I have to feel confident. Even if I don't feel confident, I have to build up the confidence. And of
Right?
course, the training every week, it makes every week again and again. It also builds up the confidence. But still, the confidence has to be. You always have to keep building the confidence, and then you start speaking
Right.
around to your people around it, like your brother, your friends, and sometimes maybe their reaction is like maybe like is it possible, you don't have to listen to that ones to those, but the most things, most people, they believe because they see your training and everything.
That's
So
right.
that's all, then it already like speak it, then the believe it part is already like yeah, existing, you believe it already, and the people you say it to, they already also believe it because they see you training, they see you building up your confidence, everything. So then
Absolutely.
that's the funny thing is with fighting, all fighters say that in Holland, most fighters,
Mm-hmm.
the good ones, they always say like the fighting part, that's the fun part, that's the easy part.
Easy
The
part.
build up to the fight. That's why
Mm-hmm.
it's called in Holland, like martial arts, but fight sports. It's called fight
Vechtsport.
sport. Yeah,
Vecht.
fight sport. It's called fight sport because you have to fight to the day that you fight. That's the easy part. That's like, yeah, then
Yeah.
you're gonna do your
It's a
thing.
walk
But
in the park.
do that. Yeah, but till the fight happens, then you got the roadblocks, all the things they
Yeah.
coming on your way, and you have to
Yeah.
those are the things you're gonna defeat. And the
Absolutely.
last fight, that's the weight. If you make
That's
your
right.
weight, then you're gonna have a fun time. That's the
Absolutely.
funny thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
What you're
but
saying
that's the
makes
way
so
it
much
works with
sense.
fighters.
That's right. That's right. In Afrikaans, the word for fight is veg. Om te
Yeah,
baklei, to veg. And it can mean different things. So boxing is box. You know that, of course, because it's
yeah,
very closely related. En dan die sport om 'n vegter te wees. But to have that fighting mindset, I agree with you full heartedly. The roadblocks are the ones, everything leading up to the fight. Are you being disciplined, in your diet? Are you going to your training sessions? Are you completing all the assignments that you have, the manifestation, the meditations? Different fighters call it different things. I watched the fight from Dricus du Plessis. He's a very
Yeah,
big South
the last
African
one in
UFC
Australia.
fighter. Yeah, he beat Israel Adesanya. I've got
Yeah.
great. He's also a part. I don't know if I told you yet, but he's also a part of the MAM Hall of Fame. So Dricus,
Okay. Good.
see, I watched his interview, his exit interview after the fight, and he said, "Well, I did not meditate on losing. I
Yeah.
manifest winning." And it's all here in our minds. You can prepare your body as much as you can. You can do whatever you need to, but if your mind is not in the right place, it's going to be difficult, and you might not get the result that you want. But I wanted to ask you, certain fighters have certain things that switch them on to fight. Like, I'll give you an example. For instance, I was an ordained pastor for 15 years. I'm a very laid back and calm person. I don't really get angry. It takes a long time for me to get angry. So when people meet me and they hear that I do MMA and boxing and kickboxing, karate, they're like, "Are you sure?" Because I'm
Mm.
always so calm and placid. But when I get in the ring, it's like something kicks in. And the way they have to help me switch on is they have to push me. If someone pushes me back, like this, then I'm switched on, I'm ready to fight. It's like I'm just in that mode. How do you switch on before a fight? What
I
switches you on?
switch on. I breathe fighting. I don't. I'm
Breathe.
not aggressive or nothing. I'm like a very easy guy. But the thing is, I breathe fighting. I'm training kickboxing, Thai boxing when I was 11. Like I'm doing, and from like 13, I think 13, I was doing like the double shifts, like the double trainings.
Fighting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was, and then I fell in love already with the sports, and I went to Thailand when I was 15. So then I saw the how it works with the poor and with the how to feel humble and all those things. Then when I was 15, because of Antoine, he
That's
showed me
very
that way,
good.
and
Yeah.
he was a guy. He did wushu. That's a
Mushum.
kung fu style, I think,
Oh,
and he did
fantastic.
it in the Olympic Games, even in the Olympic Games. So he did it at a high level. But he did, and
Fantastic.
he did two Thai boxing fights, kickboxing fights. Yeah, and he won a knockout. The two fights very easy, but the second one the guy went out, but so long that he thought it maybe he killed the guy. So then he didn't like it, and then he stopped it. Yeah, we
Yeah.
never know if we never
Ending.
know if that's a true story from him. I know because he never fought again. But
Right.
yeah, I trust him, of course, and he never fought. So me as a boy, like 14, 15, when I slept in his house because of the training Saturday morning, for example, and then after Friday after the training, and I was always asking him like, "Hey, this pro, do you win from him?" And did that? I was curious, but I was a young
Yes.
boy, and that was the way I was growing up, and it went on its
Curious,
own.
asking questions. Yeah, that's good because that's how we learn, right? That is how we learn, being curious, and also it's good that you practice and train different styles. But you were also you are a 4 times world kickboxing champion. Tell
Two
us
times
about
world champion, two
two
times.
times,
But I
two
fought.
times.
If I had won everything, I was maybe fifth or 5 or 6 times world champion.
So tell
Yeah,
us about that journey.
and the funny thing is, like I've fought 62 fights. I think I've lost like 11 or 12, and the rest I won 45 knockouts. But the ones
Five
I
knockout.
lost myself. I
Yeah.
lost myself. I never that, respect for all my opponents, but the thing is, I was never beaten down. No, never. I've
Yes.
lost for myself, like not do enough for the in the training camp, for example. I don't know what, but it doesn't matter even. It's like that's the hardest opponent is
That's
yourself.
right.
That's the
Absolutely.
one most important rule. So then I lost for myself, but not never for my opponents. So yeah.
Absolutely true. But that was your journey, and that's what makes your journey unique. Being able to talk about that because there's other fighters watching here, there's people in the world that are in the audience that relate fighting to things that they are facing in their lives. They might not just be martial artists or athletes. So we've got different groups of people. We've got groups of people that are fighters, that are, martial artists and boxers and sifus and kiyoshis and, different kind of things. But then we also have the other group of people that are fighting personal struggles. That's listening to this advice and that's thinking, oh my goodness, let me do introspection, let me regroup, let me not lose myself in the process of facing that trial, facing that tribulation. So this is a wonderful piece of information and wisdom and expertise that you're putting out there, because it does really all start with self. That self love, that self knowledge, that self encouragement, getting that perseverance, being dedicated, being disciplined, and keeping your eye on the prize or the goal or the dream. Now, you don't just do kickboxing, you have a very, very broad spectrum in which you work. You mentioned that you went and you helped people in the community, you worked with the poor, you learned how to be humble or stay humble. You also work in psychiatry. Tell us about that.
Yeah,
I find that very interesting.
yeah. Let me think how it's called in English. Fysieke zorgbegeleider. Fysieke zorgbegeleider. In het Afrikaans is misschien hetzelfde.
Which one?
Fysiek. How do you say it?
Physique,
Physical.
physical,
Um, zorg is like the zorg. Then the physical, and then taking care of people. Well, was
mental.
later, and then somebody who shows them the way. That was
Aha.
like my that's what they called my job. I was working like in psychiatric hospitals, for example, and I was
Uh-huh.
in the group, like undercover, not undercover, but I was in the group. And if
Yeah.
there was aggression, I was there to, for example, bring them down and take them how do you say, to relax them, and then yeah, further. But while we
Right.
were there, the everything went well, and then we could help people more, even more. But you know what? I wanted to say one more thing about the kickboxing thing. You know what the crazy
Absolutely.
thing is? I started when I was 11.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's like, yeah, it's a cool thing to do, but it's also
Yeah.
normal, very more normal. That time when I was 11, there was no kickboxer who was famous. Yeah, Ramon
Right.
Decker, that was my idol always. That's the biggest. He's dead. Like, but the thing is, that guy at that time he was famous in Thailand, but there were no kickboxers famous. There wasn't no even
That's right.
UFC wasn't there.
Yeah.
But now it's different. But that was funny for me also, that when I was like a couple of years ago, then I realized like how crazy it was, like that I chose that sport, and then that becomes the
Yes.
one of the biggest. It's like like the fight sports, like the martial arts is getting even bigger than it used to. It keeps
That's true.
growing.
That's true.
Yeah,
You made a very important point earlier, and I almost thank you for mentioning this. You were mentioning that the part of what you were discussing was that when fighters face certain things, they know how to adapt, right? They know how
yeah,
to switch things around to make it work. And a lot of the time, fighters get to a place where they're either not, they don't want to fight anymore, or maybe they're not able to fight anymore, but a lot of great things then open up for them. They become actors like yourself, they become
yeah,
public speakers, they become authors like you're going to be, because we're going to do projects together.
yeah,
They have something to look forward to. You know what the greatest part of it all is? Those years of being the fighter are the things
yeah,
that help to empower them to do these amazing things, to write the books, to be in the movies and have those skills, to be able to do public speaking. It's not an easy thing, especially not on the level that you fought, Juan. It's not an easy thing to be that athlete. It's not easy to go through all of the training and everything that you've done and then get in that ring. How do you how would you say, is there, or is it do the nerves ever go away before you step in the
yeah.
ring? Does
Of
it get
course,
better?
yeah, of course. The nerves go away. Yeah, but then like what happened with me in my career is like one like I've got one clip what I showed you yesterday. It went
Yes.
viral. It went 9.8 million views. But the thing is, and it had like about 1,800 comments.
Right.
Before that, I was like, before that clip came on YouTube. But the thing is, before that, I was, yeah, thinking about what people would think of that. At
Right.
that
What
moment,
is
when that movie went viral, I looked up all the comments. I read it. Like most of them choose my side.
okay,
It
good.
didn't matter, but a few they make me as small as
Um,
the ground, But I loved it. I was laughing everything because most of them even, yeah, sometimes they were right, for example. But that then I was like, no, no problem. We're not fighting for that. I'm not fighting for the people, for
that's true.
myself. Like I'm yeah. And also one crazy thing is like if I hear you talking about that is I know, but for me it's normal. That's why I say I'm breeding the sports. I'm like
Right.
I'm not afraid for nothing, nobody. It's like it went on its own. I trained
That's
for it
right.
from 11 till yeah. I still
It
train.
just started and it hasn't stopped. And that's great because you're still going, you're still keeping that momentum and you're doing great other things as well. You're a personal trainer, you're an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
you're an actor. This is really just snowballed for you. Now we were talking about that video clip. Tell me why did that video clip go viral? Tell the audience what happened.
Yeah, that clip went viral, but there's a whole story behind it. That's a funny thing. It went viral, 9.8 million viewers. The thing is, I went angry in that fight because the referee gave me an 8 count.
Oh,
But if you watch the movie, you see that I deserved the 8 count. But I did, at that moment, in my fight and everything, I did it. I was standing up straight and did it. But then the guy started to count with the 8 count. He started to do the 8 count. But normally, always, when you get an 8 count, you are
right.
minus with the points. But the thing what happened was, that guy who I was fighting. I arranged the whole fight. I fought in
Yes.
Dubai. I went world champion. My trainer asked me to come to the forest in Rotterdam to make pictures with the belts.
Weigh-ins and
I did that,
yeah,
and then that guy, that opponent, he was like, he made a comment on my post. No, nothing wrong with it, but he was like, "Hey, yo, pancake, I'm gonna fight you." Nothing wrong with it. But then I was reacting normally, like the fight I am, like no problem. Let's arrange it. Let's fight. So the fight was on with that guy in a couple of months for another world title, and then a famous fighter who fought him, he called me the day before the fight. Yeah, he called me the day before the fight. And then he told me he was Belgium. He was from Belgium, and he told me like, yeah, look out there, beat that guy, and he's a very a nasty fighter and everything. So I had that in my mind, and
yeah,
I didn't know that I had ADHD. That's the most important thing.
right.
But then I fought. Now I beat in the first round, and then in the second round, I slipped it in a bit, and it was in a hook with a hook. But
Yeah,
the guy gave me an 8 count, and then I never had that before that. But then I went how do you say dark before my eyes. You could say that because I also
yes,
remind myself when I came out of that. I was angry with the referee, and then he kept giving me a warning, and then he stopped the fight. So then no third world title and that, but that was no problem. But I was like, why? No, no, not why. I was like asking what happened, and then my trainer, that is the brother of Ramon Dekkers, my idol from when I was young. But that guy, he told at the moment he told me like, stop it. You're also putting me in the wrong. I would say it, je zet mij ook voor lul. Dat ik voor lul
oh
sta. Dat
yes,
je
regse, yeah.
Yeah,
I
that you were, how do you say it in English? I don't know. In English, I don't know. But that's the only thing now. I don't know that. But the thing is,
putting him in a
um,
in a
when
different
he
light.
told me that, when he told me
Yeah,
that, boop, I was normal again. Because then I didn't want to put him in a dark
right.
in a crazy spot.
That's
So I
right.
remember that. But the thing is that clip went viral. and no problem because before that, but it was a, you know what the thing is, that the clip went viral. For the opponent, it's a bad thing because if you're gonna celebrate if you win like that, that's
Yes.
a bad. So he did that, and it's bad. And yeah, and I only went angry, but at the end, most people could feel, they could recognize that. I think, I don't know,
Right.
but after that, I didn't do nothing with the ADHD because that I did started when I was 30, and that's the same time when I made my comeback in the kickboxing sports.
Yeah.
I was stopped for years, not for years, for 1 or 2 years, and then I um, met my ex girlfriend, the mother of my children, when I was 30. I'm now 40. So when I was
Yeah.
30, I made my comeback. I had a first fight against Hannes Schneider, his name. It was on
Yeah.
70 kilos, but I'm a little bit less lower. But it was my
Yeah.
first fight, my comeback. So I came like a chubby, and then I had to go back to the lower weight. But I fought against him. I gave him an 8 count. So then my security was back in my mind, like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're back. And then I had 10 fights, 10 knockouts, won 2 world titles, European title. I won everything. And at that point, my seating came at the gym where I was training because they didn't do enough of nothing. The truth is they did nothing to arrange fights and everything, or to book. They have fights booked. So I
Yeah.
went to another gym, trained there. Then I ended up in China, fighting in China 2 times, in America. That's other fighters, they recognize that. Like
That's
if your gym, like,
fantastic.
you have to keep loyalty to your gym. But the thing is, if they don't do enough, yeah, then you have to keep growing yourself. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, you've trained in different countries, different types of training. I know that you mentioned at some point you trained 3 times a day, 6 times a week. I mean, that was really a rigorous program to adhere to, but you
can I
knew
say
what you
something?
were working for.
My Can I say something? My comeback always. If something goes wrong in life,
Yeah,
that's the best fuel for a
that's
person to
right.
lift up. When I broke up with one of my ex girlfriends, I don't. Yeah, that's one of them. I was at the point to move to Spain, but then we started a relationship and everything, and I felt sad. I love to feel sad, so I took the emotion and then I start training. And every time I felt sad, I went training again. So that was the time I trained 3 times a day, sometimes, and then I made my comeback. But that was the best time. I've lost everything. Yeah, that's the most beautiful. For me, that was a very
It's a
nice
great
thing because
experience.
when you have nothing, then you can start accomplishing and putting the things in order. Then and achieve the things you want to achieve. For me, that worked. It's the way it worked for me. So and
That's
most
amazing.
important, even I don't have to forget it. At that time, I was living with that girlfriend, and we were young, and then we start talking about let's move to Spain. Yeah, they'll probably go to Spain. I arranged that I could live for 1 month, the last month, at a place for my cousin, a girl, near a beach. It would be nice and everything. But that way, we could take the money of the rent, to go to
Yes,
Spain. But
right.
in that month where we were just staying with my cousin, we had fights, and then we broke up. She went away, and I was with my cousin. When she went away, her mother came to that place, like she was doing the laundry or something, and then she looked at me. She was like, "Yeah, Javier, when you gonna go away?" I didn't say nothing. I was like, "I'm gonna go away," straight away. Then
Yeah.
I went to a friend of mine to live with him. I asked
Ah,
him like, "Listen, can I stay with you?" I went to him. Yeah, that guy was a little bit crazy. No problem. And he's a good guy. He's one of my best friends still. But the thing is, at that period, he was living in the house. He didn't do nothing in the house. It was like, um, um, how do you say it? When you have a new house, you have to paint and everything. He didn't do nothing. So the house, it wasn't even with
no
furniture.
maintenance.
Furniture. I went there and I slept on a on a bed like that you put air in. And I was training 2 times a day, and then I made my comeback from that moment. And then afterwards, in 1 month, my aunt, she found out that I was living in a house with nothing, and then she told me like, "Come and live with me." And then I went to her place, and I was living for half year on the sofa in her living room. The only thing I did was training in the morning. I came back, put my post on Facebook like, yeah, we trained nice, and the same thing in the evening. And that's I did that like 2 months, I think, 2 fights, and then she asked me like, Javier, you have to work, you have the money, and then I asked her, please leave me alone for half a year. Let me accomplish all the things in half a year, and then she told me like, no problem, and she gave me free, and then I could only focus on the kickboxing. I only in that period I only listened to motivational speeches, inspirational speeches
Yes.
every day. I
Wow, that's
I
good.
eat I ate a broccoli, one broccoli every day, and a fish every day. That was the only thing I eat for 1 year. Not 1 year, for a few months. Then I win the world title and everything. But that was the only thing I did. And then walk into the gym, walk back. I didn't do nothing else
And
for a
that's
few
why
months.
you got where you are because you decided that's how you wanted to prepare for that world championship. Now you mentioned something. You mentioned the word fuel, and I wanna say hi to the Prince of Positivity out there, Spencer, my friend. You know, I was flying back from New Jersey. I think it was 2022, and I landed at the airport in Johannesburg in South Africa, in South Africa. But my flight, it was the middle of the night, it was morning hours, and my flight was going to be like 3 or 4 hours later. I had a layover, so I thought I was just going to sit right there. And because I was so tired, I couldn't sleep. I was overtired, so I sat right there at the airport and I waited for this flight now, this time to arrive. And I thought, let me go on my Facebook, and here's this live from the Prince of Positivity. That's what they call him. That's his nickname, but his real name is Spencer. So I listened to this, and he's talking about all the things that we face when we're down and out, and how we hit rock bottom, and how it's so important to be positive and to see through that smoke and mirrors and know that everything's going to be fine. And suddenly I just had this notion that we need to take the things that bother us. It's on a live on Facebook. And I commented, I said, we turn all those negativities and all those obstacles, we turn that into fuel. Those are the
Yeah,
things that need to inspire us to do better. And I still remember it to this day. And he was like, yes. And he talked about that. And since then, it's like something clicked in my spirit that in those morning hours, being that tired, having to catch up with so many things, having difficult things to face, that I knew I had to work through. It's like something clicked that morning, and now when those things come across my path, I feel like it's fueling me to do better. It's inspiring me to go higher. It's really encouraging me. So when you said that, I was like, that is so true, my friend, that we have to use those things as fuel. That disappointment, that heartbreak that you had helped you in actual fact to get to those to the training that you wanted to do and to become world champion. Now you have an amazing family and friends, and you mentioned your sons and your girlfriend. Tell us a little bit more about them. Tell us about your sons. You're a proud father as well.
yeah, yeah. I've got two sons, Liam Javier and Jason Juan, two little boys, 7 and 8, with my ex-girlfriend. But that's like I've got a good contact with her, and everything is good.
That's good.
But in the end, we didn't. How do you say it? Um, Paste bij
Uitgewerkt.
elkaar.
Uh-huh.
We were a little bit different, but that's no problem. And we have two lovely sons, so we are now friends. Like, and everything goes well. And the two little boys. And the funny thing also is this, like, because I was listening to your story, what you were just saying. The
Yes.
funny thing is, when you are saying that, I'm reminding myself about, for example, Antoine. That guy is like he was training me, he was helping me, but he
Yes.
showed me so much things. Um, he explained to me everything, and those are the things. What, yeah, not
That
only
makes
him, but more trainers. But I understand that what were the lessons, what showed me the way to yeah, to manifest or to believe in yourself. It was not, it's not one day. It's like it's all the little things together,
That's
all
right.
together. And
That's
then
right.
all those things together, then it's normal that you become that. I think because it was a whole road with how do you say it, with with what you told me, with the things what come in front of you, the problems,
The
and you step
obstacle.
right over it. You
That's
step
right.
right over, you beat it, and then you go further. And that's the thing, because it's the most honest thing in the whole world, fighting, because you
That's right.
cannot lie about your condition, you cannot fake nothing. You go in the ring, one guy, you fight till the end, and
One wins and one
and, and it's the
loses.
most respectful thing, because all
That's
my
true.
opponents are friends of me now. If I see
All
them,
of
it's
your
like, yeah,
friends.
man, we shared something. It's a very yeah, very big thing. And we are the gladiators from now, I think. Like you see, and those are the gladiators from now, the
That's
modern
good.
gladiators.
That's right. The
Yeah.
modern gladiators, the fighters, and through all of the ventures that they have as fighters and the mentoring that they receive, such as yourself, they really, I believe, make a big impact in the community. They are putting out good content out there. They're sharing their lessons, the wisdom that they've been taught. I said, and I'm sure I've done this in multiple interviews, but people think when they hear, that we do martial arts, they think we go to the dojo to just fight, right? To train. But a dojo is like a second home. A
Yeah.
dojo is a place where your sifu, your kyoshi, your sensei becomes your mentor. And that's the experience that you had. And that's not just mentorship in fighting, guys. For those in the audience that are watching, it's mentorship in different areas of your life. They shape us, they shape our character, they teach us multiple valuable lessons that we take. Principles that we take from the dojo and the martial arts studios into our lives. How we raise our children, how we conduct business, who we want to
Most
be.
definitely.
Right, so that was your experience. So you had it was a blessing to have him on board, teaching you all those valuable lessons.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's true. That's a truth. But the thing is, if one of those things in my life wasn't there, I would never accomplish the things I accomplished with the world titles and everything. And yeah, it's like my whole life is like, it's a crazy thing. Yeah, if I think about it, you could make movies about it, but about different parts of what I went through. For example, when I went to Thailand the first time when I was 15, it's a crazy
Yeah,
thing. I went there. I went first to Bangkok, then I went to Pattaya with him. I was 15.
yeah,
I went to gym, Muay Thai gym, the biggest world class gym it was called. And he told me like, go shadowboxing. And I was shadowboxing, blah, 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 like normal, perfect. Like good for us, like Western people. And he told me like, nah, it's bad. You have to be like this, standing up like a Thai. And then I trained 5 weeks training at the Thai way. So that was good. And then he told me like, you can fight in a stadium. So I did it good. And then I came back to Holland. I had to fight the Dutch title
yeah.
against another big talent. And I lost on points because I was only standing like the Thai and everything. And then we went back to the drawing board. I knocked the guy out because then I went back who I was. In the gym where I was training, every gym is different. In our gym, it was Monday, Friday, it was kickboxing, Thai boxing, and
Yeah.
then Wednesday and Saturday running, and Tuesday and Thursday we did boxing, but the real boxing, like what you see with Gastamano and Mike
Open
Tyson.
weaving and slipping. Yeah.
Yeah, like and we fighters we made our
Footwork.
our own style, I think. But one
Yeah.
thing what I also want to say, what the funny thing is also this, like, now when I went to Warrior Island, from the big James F. Jefferson, everything, great movie with Sylvia Mack and all those guys, and Ron Van
Sylvia.
Cleef, of course. And I cannot forget that. I don't have to. I have to mention that name, of course. But the thing is that Budo. It's called Budo in Holland.
Yeah.
So my voice a little bit, but the Budo.
No.
It's like the martial arts and the karate. the taekwondo.
Buddha, right?
That's not famous in Holland. It's not
No?
famous now. Yeah, a little bit. I don't want to put nothing bad, but it's also that's a little bit of our own world. But the kickboxing and Thai boxing now, that's the fact sport. That's the fighting game now in
Yeah.
Holland, and that for the last 10 or 15 years. um, yeah, that's a funny thing. Like in America, it's like the karate. Now a
Yeah.
little bit the kickboxing, but that's a little bit less than that.
Different.
Karate, kickboxing in America is like the karate in Holland. We don't have
Oh,
those karate dojo. We have it.
yeah.
Yeah, we have it. I did a 100 man kumite a couple of years ago with training with the fighting guys, but
Yes.
it's not. It's a different.
It's not full
I don't
contact.
know a lot of
Kumite
karate
is not
guys,
full contact. Yeah.
but that's
Kumite,
the funny thing.
it's good to learn all the different ways to do it. But Kumite is not from an international World Karate Federation. I don't believe that's really. I don't think it can be classified as full contact like with kickboxing. I mean, it's full contact. You have to do the body conditioning and kick a certain way and do all of those things. But it all has its place. Everybody has a certain style and a way of fighting that they like, and they get really good at it. So I'm for all of the fighting styles. I think Muay Thai can be brutal. I think that's very cool because those Muay Thai fighters are really, really strong and they're really conditioned. So, I mean, one or two kicks in the right place at the right pressure points, it can do a lot of harm. And there's a place for all of the styles. I love all of the styles. I'm learning some, I did Qigong to learn different things and karate, Shorin Ryu, Shorin Kan, and Tang Soo Do, and a little bit of Kung Fu. But it's good to verse yourself in different things. And I think that's why Warrior Island's going to be so amazing, or is so amazing, because of the actors that's in there. Shout out to Silvio Simac, my good friend, my brother, my fellow
Yeah.
martial artist. He's going to be at the MAM event in December. He's a facilitator and an honorary guest with you as well, and others. So,
Yeah.
Ron Van Cleef, they're all amazing people. You've been in Warrior Island. What did you enjoy the most about making that movie?
Yeah, it's a funny thing. Like, no, that's 1 year ago. Die video, die wifi doet trouwens niet meer, of die wifi moet ik aandoen. It's like my connection gonna go gone, so I have to put the Wi-Fi on. But what I wanted to say, like Warrior Island is a funny thing. Like 1.5 year ago. It's 1 year ago, but 1.5 year ago, I saw a post on Facebook from Ron Smogenberg, and
Right?
they were doing like a fight scene in a
Yeah.
gym in Holland, and I was like felt secure for myself, but then I put a comment on like, "Hey guys, you had to use me, man." And then they told me like, "Yeah, we can keep you in mind." Pop, pop, pop. And then a couple months later, they asked me to do the spectacular last fight scene of the movie. Then I went there, and when I was on set, Silvio told me like, listen, I got an up and coming project in Philadelphia. You're fit for it, man, and you have to call this guy Jess Everton, and yeah, I think you're fit for it. I called him, and then I was invited to go to Warrior Island. Then I made contact
Yeah.
with Jimmy Justice. That's the other guy who was
Yummy.
he was the lead role in that movie. Yeah, and that was also friendly connection, and it was perfect. And then I went to Warrior Island movie set, and the thing what I believe to say with confidence is I really think that on that set it was a whole different thing that on most sets,
Yeah,
because this was martial arts. This was all masters of martial
that's
arts like
right.
Ron Van Cleef and
Ron
Michelle
is
Wu
awesome.
and Sylvia Simek and Huberto. Those are the like very like they did it for a long time. And what do you think about the UFC guy, the American guy from UFC One? It's the he's the big guy. He was also in the movie. But all
Yeah,
those martial artists, they knew how to show their respect to each other and everything, I think, and to show
that's
their
right.
humbleness. So that was an incredible. We still have to thank James F. Jefferson for
Yeah.
putting us together, and yeah, it was incredible. And with David also with Viking Samurai, And yeah, it was a very very nice thing to do. And let's see what brings more with Moriarty, because it's not finished yet. It's just starting.
Absolutely. It's just
Yeah,
starting. It is just starting. Silvio from the UK. Uh, as I mentioned, he's a facilitator and an honorary guest. Ron from Thailand, I know him as well. He's also going to be a facilitator and an honorary
yeah,
guest.
he's from Holland. Originally he's from
Originally
Holland.
from Holland, moved to Thailand, and then he got married with his
Yeah,
family. And then, we've got people like Mark Stas from Belgium. He's going to be there. Joe Cortez, Joe Cortez. Everybody knows Joe
yeah.
Cortez. He's going to be there from the US. Shannon the Cannon Rich. He's going to be there. We've got so many amazing facilitators. Michael Lopez
Jose
Cardanza.
Torres, do you know him?
Who?
Do you know Jose Torres
I do. I do. He's going to
from
be
Chile
there.
X? That also is
Yes,
such
he's
a
gonna be
great guy.
there. He's
Yeah,
awesome. David Kurjal is there. I sent Ron Van Cleef one as well. So amazing people coming together. And you know what's
I
refreshing about all of them? They're
I also
humble
have to
and
say.
they're
Oh, sorry.
respectful. Yes.
I have to say something about, because you mentioned Ron Van Cleef. That guy is he's such an amazing guy. I met him on set, and he asked me to be in his movie, what is coming out November this year in New York, premiere in Times Square, the Urban Showcase. Also, the movie from Humberto, his own short movie, I Am Nine, is going to be shown there. And
Umberto.
and me, Silvio Simek, Ron Van Ron Smollenberg, we all of us, we are in that Super Weapon 2. That's a remake. That's
Fantastic.
not a remake, but it's a sequel of the movie from 1976. It was
Wow.
also then in the premiere in Times Square, but they that is Ron Van Cleef who's making that movie,
Ron.
and we are in it. So that's our very, yeah, we feel honored. If I Yeah, I can only speak for
Awesome.
myself, but I feel very honored, of course. Yeah, that's in November this year.
Awesome.
And December, you're like the Hall of Fame. That's even more big. Is even bigger.
Well, I
Yeah.
want to tell the audience. I mean, you brought Humberto in. He's going to be an inductee. Jimmy Justice, amongst other friends. So there's amazing things happening, and we spoke. And I'm just very honored to have you as a MAM Hall of Fame inductee. And you spoke about humility, and that is really something that struck me. Is that you're very humble. You've achieved so many things in your life, and that's why I love working with athletes and martial artists. I know impeccable people, and you're part of that family now. And also, thank you for being a MAM ambassador,
Thank
because
you. I'm very proud. Thank you a lot.
I think the Wi-Fi is stuck. But guys, Juan has signed on as a MAM brand ambassador. He is doing amazing things out there, and we are very, very honored to have him on board. So thank you so much for that, Juan. Doing great things out there, working in the film world, and also pretty soon we are going to be bringing out his books. So, and we talked, there's so many sides to his life, there's so many areas that have to be covered, that we are going to do more than one. There's going to be more than one book that's going to be published through Meticulous, and we are going to put out his life story, because this story gets so, so deep. There's so many amazing, amazing things with his work as a personal care facilitator, with the struggles that he's had in his personal life, with the experience that he's gained as a fighter, with the adventures that he's having as an actor, and now a Hall of Famer and an ambassador. He's going to be an author as well. And you can see that he's very well versed. He can articulate things very well, and that's why he can also do public speaking. So all of those things are on the cards for him, and we're going to bring that to the fore pretty soon. But thank you for joining us for this session, And I'm going to go into the sponsors now, and let's see if Javier can hop back. He did mention that his Wi-Fi was giving problems. So let's go into the sponsors before we continue this session.
Baby, that was it. I want me cause I take two. I'm into it because the best of photos. I never know.
Yeah. My mind and I ain't no social activist. I'm asking if stay for a while now. Put the guns down, you can find another way. You can heal from your pain. Stay for a while now. Put the drugs down, you can find another way. You can heal from your pain.
Baby, that was it. I want me cause I take two. I'm into it because the best. There's no one like you. In the valley where the shadows cling lies a base camp of dreams where hopes take wing, but the summit calls out with a voice every night. It's the place where the brave and bold belong. In our hearts we've needed it all along. Now it's time to break free from the chains that bind. Search to the top where dreams take flight. Embrace the unknown, no longer hide. Journey's not easy, but oh, it's right. New beginnings await. Take your first stride. With each step we take, we don't care if we fail. No longer confined to the same trail. As we climb, we find freedom in our glorious tale. We wear authenticity like a badge of honor that always leads into breaking the mold, growing bolder every day we breathe. Search to the top where dreams take flight. Embrace the unknown, no longer hide. Journey's not easy, but oh, it's right. New beginnings await. Take your first stride.
There we go, audience. What a wonderful interview it has been with Juan Javier Barragan. He did mention that he was having network issues, but I have great news. We have discussed this yesterday, and he's going to be on multiple shows because we're going to be talking about a lot of topics. So look out for all the shows that we're going to be putting on here with him and other amazing guests. Also look out for his projects that he's busy with. Follow him. That's what I do here on Meticulous Moments. I connect people. I love to connect people. So connect with him and make sure that you support these amazing individuals that are doing great things out there. Now, quick shout out to the MAM Hall of Fame inductees and facilitators and those who are going to become in training with us. Very excited. December 6th to the 8th. Hilton Lincoln Center in Dallas, Texas, guys. The time is coming closer. Friday night, Saturday, the whole day, literally, and Sunday morning, a Hall of Fame weekend. Come and celebrate your accomplishments with other amazing athletes out there. I'll see you guys in the next session. Reach out to me at meticulousmacarons@gmail.com or DM me on Facebook or Instagram. Thank you. Bye-bye.